Well, good afternoon and welcome to Litson RV, where today we're broadcasting live in our marketing studio only 1 mile north of the Winnebago factory based right here in Forest City, Iowa. I want to welcome all of you to today's live interactive presentation, where today we're going to take you through the 10 items of content that are in the new 2020 National Parks Foundation limited edition Winnebago Travato, both in the 59GL and the 59KL. Of course, today we're going to take all of your questions live, and I want to welcome a few special guests that are with us today. Our marketing team, Rhonda Gertis is behind the camera today, Hope Litson, and also Maggie Breister. And our marketing team is really the ones that are responsible for all the great content that you see on our website on litson.com. I also want to welcome Heidi Thompson. Heidi is our Vice President and General Manager here at Litson RV. And as she does each month with our live interactive presentations, she's going to moderate our chat today. So I want to welcome all of you as we broadcast live across 4 different marketing channels on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live, also on our website on litson.com. And I want to welcome for the first time all of our Twitter followers on Periscope as they join us in our marketing studio today for the National Parks Foundation Travato. Of course, we're going to take all of your questions live, so if you're following on Facebook Live, you can very simply just chat in your comments down below. If you're on our website on litson.com, off to the right you'll see a video chat icon, and you can just log in. You don't have to provide any information, but you can chat in your questions there. On YouTube Live, you can certainly also chat in your questions off to the right in the chat screen. Within Periscope, you can also then just tweet in your comments as well. So today we're going to cover the 10 items that are in the content for the National Parks Foundation Limited Edition 2020 Winnebago Travato, the GL and the KL. And a little bit of background before we get started. In March of this year, Winnebago announced its partnership with the National Parks Foundation, which is the nonprofit arm of the National Park Service. And they announced a 100-build limited edition run of the National Parks Foundation Travato, which was a great success. And people took advantage of that and are now just taking delivery of those coaches that were ordered during that March timeframe. Last week at the RV Industry Association's open house in Elkhart, Indiana, Winnebago announced a second run of 100 limited edition National Parks Foundation Travatos. It also was a great success, and as of this morning, Winnebago has now taken about 75% of those orders. So within about a week or so, we have 25 of these that are left. So real timely today that we cover the content changes from the first 100 build and the second 100 build, and then we'll also cover all of the content that makes up that National Parks Foundation limited edition package within the Winnebago Travato.
That was a great intro.
That was a really long-winded intro.
You did it.
I did it. All right, let's get going. So as with all of our live interactive presentations, such as today, we can do the same type of interactive presentation from the comfort of your own home or office on any of our in-stock RVs, as we do on a daily basis here at Litson RV. So let's talk about the 10 items that make up the content within the National Parks Foundation limited edition Winnebago Travato. The first is a limited edition paint scheme. What you're seeing behind me here is one of the builds that were in the first 100 run. This was the copper exterior paint scheme. So what makes up the limited edition paint scheme is all of the National Parks Foundation Travatos will be in the high metallic, granite metallic, full body base coat, clear coat, automotive paint. It then includes limited edition, additional striping, and then also, Rhonda, if you want to zoom in on this area, a limited edition print towards the rear of the Travato itself. In the first 100 that were built, and these are all sold out, you had your choice of amber yellow or the canyon accents. In the second build run, you'll have your choice of light gray metallic or the martini green. And so, again, with about 75 of those already being placed and built, there's about 25 left to be able to take advantage of. Those are available in light gray metallic or martini green. And the amber yellow and the canyon are not available in the second build run.
So a question that we get a lot, and
That was a
one that we
digital
already
wave of her
have,
hand.
I didn't want to get too far into this, is clarification between the two runs. The first run with the yellow and
Yep.
the copper, second run with the green and the lighter gray.
Yep.
Are the differences between those two batches other than color? Are there differences?
There are no other changes outside of the accent colors. All of the content that we're going to cover today, all of the content you see on the vehicle display pages on our website on Lichtsinn.com have all the current content, and they're available either in the light gray metallic or the martini green. But other than that, the two build runs are identical with respect to all of the content that are within the package and within the underlying build of the Travato itself.
And you get an awesome blackout National Park Foundation logo.
And you get the National Park Foundation logo right here. Okay, so that's the first item, the limited edition paint. Again, they're all in granite metallic. You have your choice of light gray metallic accents or martini green. The second and probably the most substantive item that's within that actual National Parks Foundation build is the fourth module or the fourth cell that goes into the Volta Power Systems Pure 3 energy system. So we have some great content on our website on Lichtsinn.com that covers all of the details of those. We also do have pictures, I should have said this, of the light gray metallic and the martini green on each of the vehicle display pages on our website. But the fourth module or the fourth cell that's being added to that automotive grade NMC lithium energy pack takes you up to 11,600 watt hours, which is 33% larger than the current Pure 3 lithium builds within the Travato of 8,700 watt hours. So again, that fourth cell brings you from 8,700 watt hours up to 11,600 watt hours. It is about 33% bigger. So again, that will provide complete 30 amp whole coach electrical service to the RV, powering literally everything identically to where if you were plugged into Shoreline service on 30 amp electrical service, or if you were running a common RV generator, which really is the goal of the lithium system, is to eliminate that RV onboard generator. So that lithium system is recharged in a couple of different ways. The under the hood alternator, as we covered in an earlier webcast, has now been increased to 160 amps of output, which is an increase from the 120 amp original under the hood alternator. It's also recharged then by the 220 watts of solar, which are up on the roof. Did I say 220 or 230?
220.
220 watts of solar that are now up on the roof. And the second item that's included in the National Parks Foundation Limited Edition is the portable ZAMP solar panel. So that is a 140 watt panel that's included in that National Parks Foundation package. It'll provide 140 watts of charge power at 7.8 amps, which then brings you up to 360 total watts with the National Parks Foundation Travato. It can also be expanded rooftop or with additional portable as well. Good?
Yep.
Okay, so then let's cover the third item that's in the National Parks package, and that is the high performance wheels, as well as the high performance BF Goodrich all-terrain TAKO tires. And Rhonda, that may be a challenge for you, but if you could zoom in on that, that would be awesome. So this is a Moto Wheel Manufacturing high performance aluminum alloy wheel. It pairs up then with BF Goodrich all-terrain TAKO2 tires. And really the goal of the TAKO2 tires is to provide more all-weather traction. The KO2 stands for the key benefit on off-road. The 2 stands for the second generation of the BF Goodrich TAKO tire. And really the goal here is to provide better traction in an all-terrain utility style tire. And not to get too complicated, but it does provide some great benefits with a much stronger sidewall. It's about 20% stronger than previous generations of treads. The aggressive, it's kind of computer optimized in terms of the tread pattern with the serrated edges, and then the siping within the tread provides for greater traction. And it will look a little bit rugged from the side, but really that is for gravel, sand, and dirt ejection from the tire tread. So a great package here. We now include this on the Winnebago Revel with a slightly different wheel, but now also within the National Parks Foundation limited edition Travato.
So this is a good time for me to jump in. We have a couple good questions. On our YouTube channel, Ryan is wondering, does that portable solar panel have a special place for storage, or does it just go in the wardrobe or where you'd like?
You can store it wherever you'd like. Very lightweight, very nimble. Kind of the advantage to it is that you can articulate it right towards the sun. So depending upon where you actually RV, very lightweight. It does expand out, and then you can articulate it directly towards the sun to gain more solar absorption. It very simply plugs into the quick port right here, and does have a longer cable so that you can navigate that out of a wooded area, so to speak.
And really pretty light and easy to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can be stored anywhere.
Jeff on our YouTube channel is asking if there will be more than 2 runs.
We are fairly confident, because we asked that question of Winnebago Industries. We believe that with this second run of 100, again, which I said earlier, 75% has already been sold. This will take us right all the way up until kind of that March timeframe, of which then in kind of that April to May timeframe, they'll cut over to the 2021 model. And so I do believe this is going to be the end of the runs.
And just to clarify on your solar comment, that additional solar panel, that portable, can that be added to the roof?
It could actually be temporarily stored up on the roof, but it is portable.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
And do you know, John from our website is asking, do you know how many ply on the tires?
I don't, but I can certainly look it up. And I may need to, I don't have that in my specs right here.
Perfect.
Well, not perfect, but
well,
if you want to chat in with your email address, or just shoot us a note, or chat in on our website on Litson.com with an email address, we can shoot that over to you. We're good. Okay, so let's cover the 4th item in the National Park Foundation model, and it's kind of one of those can't sees that you can't readily see, but we do now include sumo springs, both front and rear. And like we touched on in an earlier webcast, Winnebago really does a great job of voice of customer research, where they interview owners, but they also really do pay attention to a lot of the social media internet forums that are out there. And noting that a lot of their guests were already installing sumo springs, Winnebago decided to bring those out in the National Parks Foundation model. Sumo springs really are designed to work like air springs that will allow you to provide greater stability, enhance load carrying capacity, and to dampen some of the sway that you may have in slightly off-road travel. There are 3 different sumo springs that are out there, and using sumo springs as opposed to an airbag eliminates the need for hoses, an onboard air compressor. The great thing about sumo springs is that since they are built the way that they are, you don't actually have to maintain any air inside the sumo spring itself. You could literally drill through the spring and it would still function. But the dampening is set across 3 different loads, and Winnebago selects the kind of the middle of the road density. They're the black sumo springs that most RVers will put on their Travatos, and they are now included in that National Parks Foundation model. And I was just looking up one other thing. Yeah, so they're actually closed microcellular urethane that provides a progressive spring rate. So what that means is, as you sense the need for any type of dampening, it'll provide a softer cushion, and then as you need even more, it will firm up the damper on the actual suspension itself. Good on sumo springs?
We are. But back to that solar panel on our website, do you think that that would fit in that over cab storage above the cab?
Setting me up, aren't we?
Maybe.
Let's try it.
Thank you, Rusty.
I am game for anything, because eventually you all want me inside the shower. This is a really good test. I need some sound effects because it is going to fit perfectly.
Oh, that looks nice. Good job. I didn't think you were going to be able to do that.
Really, you thought I was going to create an accident and create a really memorable, live, interactive with Rusty.
Yep. Rusty has an additional question. Can we get a rough view photo, which we have on our website?
Yep, and we do. We have those on our website. If you go to Litson.com, click on New RVs, scroll down to the Travato section. Rhonda does a great job when she photos these as we elevate up, and we'll zoom in and we cover everything that's rooftop.
And then just one last question on Sumo Springs. How do those Sumo Springs differ from the normal Travato to the National Parks Edition?
Okay, so in the future builds of the Travato, they're the exact same ones.
Yep.
But earlier builds, earlier 2020s won't have Sumo Springs.
All
Good?
cut up. Yep.
Okay, so let's move on to the next item, which is the removable marine material. So it's kind of a sea mat like you might see on boats. This removable mat is included in the National Parks Foundation edition and really makes for cleaning out your RV a breeze, because you can literally just blanket it out like a sheet to remove all loose debris. It's custom fit for each floor plan, whether you're in a GL or a KL. We happen to be in a KL that's sold to one of our guests, and so you can see how it's custom contoured throughout the coach. And then Rhonda, I'm going to bring you with me and we'll zoom back inside, if you're game for that. Rhonda, are you game for that? Okay, so we are inside of the 59KL. Again, we covered the woven marine material floor mat. Again, it rolls up, you can shoot it out, and it'll clean out your RV very, very quickly. What's also new inside are the anything keepers. Let me give Rhonda a chance to zoom in. So a couple of different things. There's two different contents in here that we're going to cover. The first are the anything keepers. So these are mesh drop-down style storage bins. They're located at the head of each bed, depending upon which floor plan you're in. This is a KL. What's great about these is we all go to bed with our smartphone, our tablet, reading glasses, books, or even a CPAP or BPAP machine next to us. You can place these in this drop-down mesh bin. If it is just a smartphone or a tablet, you can then recess it back, and they're actually pre-drilled out the rear for cables, which then can tie into the USB chargers or the 110 volt outlets. So again, these are the anything keepers. And then the second content item, which is inside, these are the RAM mount tough tracks. And these RAM mount tough tracks really are designed so that for your connectivity devices, such as a smartphone or a tablet, we install the RAM mount tough tracks, and then any accessory that you need, whether it's an iPhone, an Android, or an iPad, with those different attachments, they can be used throughout the RV. So again, inside the anything keepers and the RAM mount tough track system.
So sorry, Ron. Drop my clipboard. We do have a question while you're right there.
Awesome.
So just generally about the lithium Travato system,
Yep.
what changed with the SOC gauge?
Okay,
from
good question.
Prior?
Rhonda, I'm going to come right up here, and I know you know where that's at. This is the state of charge gauge, or the SOC gauge, and this was changed in the mid part of the 2020 model year. So not necessarily a change to the National Parks Foundation edition, but it is a change to the Volta Power Systems Pure 3 system. Historically, this would be a static gauge. It's now been recalibrated to showcase and just show directly on that state of charge gauge how much usable energy is left. So in previous years, the auto start, whether it be in stealth mode or with the alert, the auto start mode would kick in between 25 and 35%. Now it kicks in between 15 and 25%, depending upon where you're at for auto start. So it's been recalibrated to show actual usable life left in your lithium energy pack. It'll also change to blue if it's too cold, but we now have the heating pads, which are included with the Volta Power Systems lithium systems, which are 110 volt, and they're automatically thermostatically controlled for the heating pads that are provided by Volta Power Systems.
And I'll just keep firing questions at you.
Awesome.
Do we have photos, videos available of the National Park edition with the new colors?
We do. So on the exterior, we have the light gray metallic photos from last week at the open house event in Indiana. We also have the martini green exterior. Within the interior, which is true of any Travato, you have your choice interior-wise. This happens to be the Mecca Ultra Fabrics collection with the high gloss macchiato cabinetry. And we do have great media. Rhonda and Maggie do a great job of that online. And so we've got great photos of the high gloss macchiato. So this is Mecca with the interior with the high gloss macchiato cabinetry. The second choice then would be the blue fabrics collection with the Colombian walnut interior, which is not a high gloss, but it is a matte finish. And then again, this is the high gloss macchiato.
Are those floor mats available for regular Travatos?
I would assume that we could get them through our parts team. I don't think they're holding back on those to where they're only available for National Park sales.
Another good question, are those drop-down shelves anything keepers able to be retrofitted to earlier Travatos?
Yes, you bet. Yep, they can be added to anything.
Rick has a CPAP. Where would he be able to plug that in?
So with a CPAP, depending upon the size of it, I know my father's is very compact because he can use it in traveling, and I've seen it. That will actually fit in an anything keeper. But if that's not the case, and it is too large, we could actually mount it in one of the overhead cabinets. And then we also can route the cables through, or the hoses, I should say, depending upon which side needs it. Good question.
Rick is questioning what are the warranties on the various components?
Okay, so let's cover all of the warranties, and we'll kind of start with the longest to the shortest. So the Volta Power Systems warranty is an 8-year warranty on the batteries. Each appliance manufacturer is going to carry its own warranty that'll range from 1 to 3 years. The Ram ProMaster chassis itself has a 5-year 60 extended powertrain, 3 years 36 on the chassis. Winnebago then wraps their fit and finish items in a 12-month, 15,000 mile item, things like their plumbing and electrical and things like that.
Mark on our Facebook page is asking, do you have any particular roof storage options we recommend for adding to the KL? Space appears to be tight.
Yeah, so rooftop with the Summit rack system, which is mounted up on the roof, there are a lot of different attachment points that can be used for adding. We've seen military boxes, we've seen stowaway boxes, any type of storage that you want up there, we can mount on those cargo racks rooftop. Obviously, if it's a larger one, we're going to want to do something that's accessible from the rooftop itself, because you're not going to want to take the whole box off. What we see most of the time are kayak access points and things like that.
National Parks Wannabe, who has had great questions so far, is asking also, can those walnut cabinets be combined with the Mecca instead of the blue?
Correct. So either one are interchangeable. So from an interior perspective, your two fabrics collection choices are the blue or the Mecca, and then you can pair either of those with the high gloss macchiato or the Colombian walnut.
Michael is asking, where are the heating pads for the lithium batteries, and are they turned on automatically, or is that something that you need to turn on manually?
Yeah, great question. They're mounted in the actual Volta Power Systems NMC grade battery pack containment box itself. I believe they're actually underneath. I don't believe that they're over the top, but I can validate that for you. They are automatic, they are electric, so they're 110 volt, but they are tied into the inverter, so it can run off of the Volta Power Systems itself, and they are thermostatically controlled automatically by the Volta Power Systems.
So no buttons?
No buttons.
You just have to have your inverter on if you're...
Correct. If you're not going to be plugged in. If you're going to be plugged in and it's a storage facility or a storage location, as long as you're plugged in, they'll work automatically. If you're using the Volta Power Systems itself, it's completely automatic. You just leave your inverter on, and it is tied into that inverter circuit and thermostatically controlled. There has been some confusion out there, and I know a lot of dealers were providing some of that confusion. There is a switch inside for the heated drainage system itself. Because this is a 4-season coach, where the black and the gray tanks are exposed on the outside. There is a warming pad underneath the black tank and the gray tank. That switch is actually for the heated drainage option. It's not for the Volta Power Systems heating pads.
Al is wondering if that fourth lithium cell can be added to non-National Park Travato GLs.
Yeah, good question, and it can. In fact, last week, we're great partners with Volta Power Systems. They've been a great partner to work with. They're here in store doing training for our service team, for our service technicians. Jack Johnson, one of the founders I visited with last week, it can be done. It is a little bit of a step-by-step process because really the actual energy pack itself needs to be returned to Volta so that they can reprogram the BMS or the battery management system. So it is a little bit of a process, but it absolutely can be done. It certainly would be fairly pricey, but then you kind of weigh that with the cost of the National Parks Foundation model, and you just kind of make your decision that way.
Rick is asking, after an order is placed for a National Parks unit, can we customize the build as the unit is being assembled, change colors, etc.?
Yeah, so again, with roughly 25 being left, we can actually customize any of the content inside. I believe the only thing that is mandated is the cargo rack and ladder.
Screens.
Screens.
Yes. Did I know something you didn't know?
You stumped me.
Awesome.
But it's only because we're not through all of our content yet.
I'm caught up.
You're caught up on questions.
Yep.
Okay, so other content items that are included in the National Parks Foundation are the roll-down zipper shades that are in the side screen that you've seen in our earlier webcast. That's in this surrounding area. We don't have them installed right now. But again, the roll-down zipper style side screen door, very quiet, very lightweight, doesn't rattle like things on windows, provides a great magnetic enclosure so that as you exit, the magnetic clasp comes together to keep insects out. And it has a nice little pet loop down below so that you can't be fooled by having one of your pets figure out how to get out. So that's in this side screen door area.
Where can they see photos of walnut cabinets?
Walnut cabinetry we have on our website. And actually, if you just go to the new RVs tab within Lichtsinn.com, you can just see all of the different interiors because we stock it both ways. Yep.
Eli on Facebook is asking, what year did they add the compressor-driven fridge on the Travato?
In the K version, it was the only option. So in the debut of the K floor plan, in the G, I believe it's been 2 years now.
Warren on our YouTube channel is asking, he heard the macerator is only on the gray tank, why not the black, which seems logical.
Because that's a gravity drain. Yep. Great questions today.
Great questions. So Michael's asking, I know with lithium batteries, they need to be thermoregulated. You have the warming pad. Is there a cooling system when you are in temps greater than 100 degrees?
Yeah, great question. And we also have some great media specific to the lithium models in our interactive presentations that we have on our vehicle display pages. And so the radiant heat and also the cooling from the coach itself is actually drawn into the Volta Power Systems energy cabinet, so to speak, which is steel housed, because that's always one of the questions we get with respect to safety of the lithium versions. And so a really good rule of thumb is that as long as you're comfortable inside the RV, so will your lithium batteries. And that's a really good rule of thumb. The tank heaters, or excuse me, the pad heaters for the Volta systems were always offered by Volta, and Winnebago now are bringing those in the middle part of the 2020 model year just to supplement the need for that Truma Combi heat to be drawn down into the energy box.
Linda is wondering if the macchiato cabinets come in a matte finish.
They do not. So I apologize for that, but again, it's high gloss macchiato or it's Colombian walnut, which is in the matte finish.
Tim is asking, with the roll-off side screen, can you close that side door from the inside with the screen down?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I had to follow along there.
Rick is asking, please explain the communication options, TV, Wi-Fi, etc. Is GPS navigation included?
Yeah, great question. Rick has been knocking it out of the park today.
It.
Okay, so on board with respect to the ProMaster chassis, There is GPS on board. It's provided by Ram ProMaster. With respect to connectivity options, all Travatos now will be built with the connectivity port, which provides cabling access to the roof. Then in the base or inside the RV, the cabling, I'm not going to use the word female or male, although I just did. The input where that comes into that cabinet includes the USB charge points, the 12-volt power points, as well as the 110-volt outlets, so that we can configure whatever you would like, whether it be satellite TV, whether it be Wi-Fi boosters or cellular boosters, or combined Wi-Fi and cellular boosters, such as a WineGuard Connect 2.0.
Michael is wondering if it's possible to have an induction stove instead of gas.
It is possible. Anything's possible. Generally, when you look at cost benefit, we have to have LP on board for the Truma Combi Eco Comfort Plus system. The plus meaning the fact that we have both LP and 110-volt fuel sources. So it's possible. Maybe not necessarily worth the cost benefit, but anything is possible.
A question regarding availability and how long they'll be available, which we kind of have some experience with on the first run.
Yeah, the first one was maybe a slightly slower startup until everybody warmed up to the fact that now we've got 11,600 watt hours with the fourth cell, so then it kind of took off. But again, roughly we're 75% through the build, so about 25 left. In terms of availability, most of our build dates for the existing ones that guests have committed to kind of run into that January timeframe, early February?
February, yep.
Early February? February?
Tim has a great question for you. He's going to ask, Ron talks about Apple CarPlay more than anyone I know. So is the Ram ProMaster GPS radio Apple CarPlay compatible?
I don't believe it is. I don't believe it is. I'm probably, what, 90% positive? A good replacement, though, no self-serving motive, is an Alpine Halo. It's a great head unit, and it can be used for Apple CarPlay or for Android Auto.
For those of you who don't know Ron very well, his true passion is audio-visual components.
Yes, I am a geek, big geek.
I think you've handled them all.
Okay, so now as we wrap all this up with a nice bow tie, you can feel good about your purchase, because the 10th item with the National Parks Foundation is that with every National Parks Foundation limited edition Travato sold, a contribution will be made to the National Parks Foundation, which again is the apolitical philanthropic arm of the National Park Service. All good?
We're good.
So again, I want to thank everyone for joining us today as we broadcast live here in our marketing studio, which again is only 1 mile north of the Winnebago factory, based right here in Forest City, Iowa, where we cover the 10 content items in the National Parks Foundation limited edition 2020 Winnebago Travato. Again, we can do the same type of a live interactive presentation in the comfort of your own home or office on any of our in-stock RVs with any of our factory trained consultants, which we do on a daily basis here, so we can do a virtual appointment. And for most of our guests, when they take delivery of their RV, they'll be seeing our facility for the first time when they take delivery, if we pick them up at the airport or however they navigate here. So a great virtual experience that we can do for you. Also keep in mind that during normal business hours, we staff our chat with true Lichtsinn RV team member professionals. So you're not going to be talking to a bot or a third party unless everyone's all tied up or if it's after hours. So again, you're speaking to all of our 13 factory trained consultants here at Lichtsinn RV. And again, I want to thank everyone for their great questions today. Thank you, Heidi, for moderating our chat, and thank you to our awesome marketing team as we broadcast live here today on the National Parks Foundation Limited Edition Travato.